We're going to be talking through today's Monday NBA slate. But the golf streak is broken for me. I did not win this week in golf. I actually enjoyed it. It was a pretty fun tournament on Sunday. It was really came down to the wire there. That was fun, but nothing great to report DFS wise. Sheets, how was your weekend? And then let's get into the slate.
Yeah, weekend was fine. My streak continued in golf.
Oh, still no good.
Losing my 83rd straight classic slate. So I'm continuing to work, continuing to do my best to improve, and we'll just see. We got another one this week, so we're gonna keep firing.
Yep.
All right, so I guess I'll just start by by sharing my screen here. Let's see. Okay. So right off the bat, I mean, it's Cleveland City, right? It's like no rest for the weary here. So we have Mitchell out, Mobley out, Strus out. So here we go. Craig Porter, Sam Merrill, Darius Garland, maybe not in that order. Jared Allen, all four of those guys, at least right off the bat, look pretty good to me. On the Indiana side, I'm not getting anything right now. I guess I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I think that I've got it ranked. I think that you definitely want to play a couple Clevelands. I would try to, as of right now, I probably would plan to play one of Garland or LeVert, probably Garland. Merrill makes a lot of sense with no Dean Wade also too. I like the idea of a long shot play on Craig Porter Jr. We've seen him take over a couple times in these situations. That would be the low owned play that I would go with. But I think you're probably getting to a couple from Cleveland. Also, like Jared Allen, George Niang, all in the mix as well.
You like Jalen Smith from Indiana?
I mean, I think this is an over projection. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from, other than what's his name being out. But like, we're just going to assume that now all the minutes are going to go. I don't know. It feels like it's based on the last game or two. I'll have to dig a little bit further into that one. I really don't know what, he and OB both are projected really well. I think it's fine. I guess it's basically the same thing we have all the time, and they're backup bigs and they're cheap, but I don't think that it needs to be played this way as of right now. I think there's probably going to be stuff we get that's better than that. I think you as of right now, I guess you consider Jalen Smith and Obi Toppin, but I'm not committing to that. I'm going to want to play them by the time lock comes around. I do think Siakam and Halliburton are in play, but not like priorities by any means. And that's how I feel about the cheap guys as well. All right. What do we have next? Detroit.
We have a big spread, I think, is what we have next.
Yeah, we've got probably, let's see, is that it's not going to be 20 quite. It's going to be close, right? It's
depends who plays, 15. I guess.
15. Yeah, I guess that's it. So what do you like here? Anything?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Tatum could score 60 fantasy points in 3 quarters, I guess, and maybe more. So sure. Peyton Pritchard's always good for a good blend of regular run and blowout run. So sure. Derek White, good enough, 7,100 if he plays. Detroit, Cunningham. You'd have to imagine that he'd have to do something for the game to stay close. More than something, I guess. I guess I'll just play. This is going to be one of those where I probably end up playing these Boston guys and then get mad when they don't play the fourth quarter. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the one you didn't mention, I think is going to be the most popular play on the slate. That's Svi Mykhailiuk. I would imagine Svi Mykhailiuk.
What team is he on?
He's Boston.
Okay.
I'd imagine that he, as of right now, he'd probably be about 90% owned. I really don't know if I want to just commit to this yet. I don't know that this is as sure of a thing with Holiday out that's going to happen, and it feels like an over projection. I know he played 18 minutes, played 22 minutes in the last game. I'm not sure about this one. I really need to figure out what they're going to do here, because I guess they're going to guess that he's starting. But I'd have to see that. So I as of right now, I'm totally up in the air what to do with the Mihailuk thing. It's a pretty ambitious projection they have here. So I'm not quite sure what to do with it.
Yeah, I didn't even get to. I took a real quick look at the projections. And to be honest, I didn't even project him. So yeah, now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, he's gonna be the guy you have to decide on, I guess, pretty early.
Yeah, so I want to wait till a little later to figure this one out, just because I'm not 100% sure these minutes are secure. I'm just gonna double check what minutes we have him at, actually, because they've only got him at 22 minutes and still have him at it's pretty ambitious projection for 22 minutes. But we still have Tatum questionable, so we'll hopefully get some more clarity on this game in general by a little bit later. Obviously, if Tatum doesn't play, Jaylen Brown is probable. Derek White is probable. I think all of those guys are decent plays with no Drew, but Pritchard's going to look like the value other than Svi, and I don't know what to do with that yet. I have to revisit this one later today. I think the price is too low on Cade Cunningham. I understand the fears and the concerns and everything, and the game and the blowout and all that, but I think that it's reasonable to take a stab at him at 7,900 while he's that cheap. So that would be my interest in the Detroit side. All right. What do you got next? Philadelphia?
I have Miami, Philly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Butler didn't play on Sunday. Tobias Harris did not participate in Monday's shoot-around. So I don't know what to do. I know what to do. There's nothing. We have to just kind of wait. We have to wait and see who's playing. I imagine that I was about to say I would imagine that Butler plays is a good play, but that's not necessarily true either. So I don't know. I guess it's a game that you probably want to wait on, and pretty much all I have. I mean, I wish I could be more astute about this one.
Yeah, we've gotten back into the Butler not being as impressive lately, but I do like this matchup for him. I think that playing in Philly, if he's available, I like him. If he's not available, I don't really know that it does much other than maybe raise my level of interest in Bam and Rozier. I guess Hawkes then becomes more in play. I'd have to see what the projections say, but as of right now, if he does play, it's a national televised game. We should know early enough. But I think Butler would be my highest level of interest on the Miami side. And as I always like Maxey at this price, I know it's not a good matchup. I think that he's completely reasonable at 8,600. So I like Maxey quite a bit on the other side. All right. Next up, we have Portland, Chicago.
So who is out that's making Svi? Oh, Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even have him as out. I had him as just questionable.
He's doubtful officially.
Okay.
So I would assume he's out.
Let me just see that real quick.
All right.
Now, I have nothing on Drew Holiday here. Okay.
He's doubtful officially. I know that.
Oh, okay.
I would never look at DraftKings as a measuring thing, because you never know what the hell they got in there. I've had DraftKings actually tell me a player was out before that I had to sub out of it in baseball, and then I subbed him out of every lineup, and I was a max entry night, and then of course he comes up and hits a home run in the first inning, and wasn't even supposed to be in the lineup, and my other guy didn't end up playing, which was like really frustrating. Anyway, I digress. All right, Portland, Chicago.
Yeah, this is I think gotta get the year right. I think this is revenge from 1993, Portland, Chicago, maybe. I'm not sure.
92.
92 was? Yeah. So I'd like to stack Terry Porter and Clyde Drexler, but I don't think they're available tonight. So instead, you're left with a 55% owned, whatever his first name is.
Delano Banton.
Yeah. So it's not Terry Porter. It's Delano Banton, and he's 5,600. He's showing up as the only guy I have over 6x because I don't have Svi's projected. But I guess he's the best value on the slate, I suppose. And then on the Chicago side, again, you have those same mid-range guys that are showing up. Like the the Alex Caruso, the IA DeSumno. I mean, those are guys are showing up in my lineups right now. So I guess that's what I have. I mean, Banton, best point per dollar play on the slate for now. And I don't know how that changes at 5,600. You know what I mean? It's a pretty healthy projection on this dude. I mean, has he really been worthy of this? I don't know.
Yes.
I'll let you talk about it.
Yes. So he has, but it does seem like a kind of a crazy median projection anyway. But yeah, he's been absolutely, basically, I would call it must play. I don't think you even really question it. I don't think you think about it. Assuming that he starts, I just think you play him and that's it. I think that if you don't, like, yeah, you might get the lucky game where he only 5Xs. I think there's a path where he 10Xs here. So, I mean, he's projected to have the most fantasy points on the team. You know what I mean? Which is pretty wild. On the other side, I like DeRozan and Vooch. I think both are interesting. And I'd give a slight edge to DeRozan. And no issue with Sonmu or Caruso, but I'm not prioritizing them as of right now. I do think DeRozan, though, is pretty close for me. All right. That's pretty much that one. Next up, we have is it Minnesota, Utah, right?
Yeah. So Minnesota, Utah, you have another chance to play Kyle Anderson if you feel like it. You also have a chance to play the Rudy Gobert going back to Utah, which has got to be something. I don't know exactly what it is. It's got to be something. Also, you can always play Anthony Edwards. Good matchup against Utah. Utah side, I'm not really seeing too much. I guess guys are back, I suppose. What do you think? You like Rudy Gobert getting 20 and 20 in this spot? You like
possible? Yeah, I think Gobert. I think that everybody is interesting enough. Like Gobert, Conley, Edwards, and Anderson are all reasonable. I think that if I had to pick, I would probably end up with Gobert or Edwards. If I had to pick anybody in this game, and I do like the matchup for them, so I think that they're both decent plays. I just have nothing on the other side whatsoever to get to. Did you have anything on Utah?
I was saying I don't have anything.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much out on the Utah thing. If I had to make a play or gamble of any kind, it would be Keontae George. But yeah, I do think these Utah guys are interesting. So I would probably say Gobert. Gobert is probably my favorite, but it's pretty close. And I think everybody on Minnesota is totally solid. All right, moving over to Memphis, Sacramento, or the other one. Which one do you have?
I have Memphis, Sacramento, and it's pretty interesting because I'm getting all kinds of exposures to Sacramento guys. So I just presume that like Fox was out or something, but he's not. So it just has to be some kind of just bad pricing, I guess. So the guys I'm getting to in my lineups right now are Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, and Malik Monk. Maybe it's just the lack of other value, but these guys are showing up in 30% plus in my lineups. So I guess we'll have to dig into that a little bit. As far as Memphis guys go, once again, I have Gregory Jackson. I'm getting like 10, 15% up. But aside from that, not too much. What's the deal with the Sacramento stuff?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Jackson. I like Jackson is my only guy I like on Memphis. The issue is it's just a pricing thing. But again, just remind everybody, not everybody can get there all the time. Like that's just the way that it works. Like
right,
Herter, Barnes, Fox. I'll just name them out loud. Barnes, Murray, Herter, Sabonis, Fox, Monk are not all going to be able to be on the court at the same time. So I don't know, so something's got to give. I guess if, for minutes, I think Barnes is probably safer than Herter. I like Herter's upside probably a little bit better. I like Keegan Murray because he'll get enough run. And then I have Monk as the next one I have Fox as the next one followed by Monk. Definitely a lot of them are interesting. I don't have any that I'm putting a must play on, but I do think that getting exposure to a couple of them is probably a good idea. I don't like Fox and Monk together in general. So I would go one of those two with either Murray, Barnes, or Herter, and that's the way I have them ranked: Murray, then Barnes, then Herter. But yeah, definitely some just weird pricing here, and I think that lack of very clear value on the slate is going to give it some ownership. But my guess is by the end of the day, probably ends up a little lower than we've got it projected right now. All right.
Now, it's interesting to note, by the way, I mean, the way this slate is, I mean, it's like it goes on forever. I mean, like 7, 2 7:30s, an 8, a 9, 2 10s, and a 10:30. I mean, this is you got to be around for this one. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Now, with that said, I mean, it's not like there's any real pressing news later.
Not that we know of, yeah.
But even still, I mean, you still want to. By the way, one thing that kind of I thought about yesterday is that at some point, when people are least expecting it, you're going to get like LeBron James or Anthony Davis out, and because we're so comfortable with the fact that they're just questionable every day, but they're playing every day. Just one time, they're just going to be like out. And they're going, what the hell? They're going to say, well, we said he was questionable, whatever.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen for what it's worth, but
yeah.
I think they're playing every single game they possibly can because the Lakers are desperately trying to get in there. But I hear you.
All right. So let's start, I guess, with the Knicks Warriors game. And
this is fucking trash.
Kind of look at both these games. I don't really see too much. One thing I will say is that Anunoby is out. Which means you're probably supposed to take the free money on the Hart rebounds again. We'll take a look at that prop in a minute.
Yeah.
But aside from everything else, I mean, I don't really see too much value in this game.
Yeah, I love Jalen Brunson here.
Okay.
I think that's a good play. That's $9K, feels very reasonable in Golden State. So he would be my number one. I like the idea of getting to one of Harder or DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo's a little cheaper, and I think they're both interesting. So I like that. I like both of those plays. I'm not really getting to anything else in this game that stands out. I don't like the matchup for the Golden State side. I think you can always take a shot on Curry, but it's just that it's a shot. So probably just the Brunson and potentially DiVincenzo or Hart interest for me.
10K is a pretty big price on DeJounte Murray.
It's a lot.
I think I prefer, again, presuming he plays, I guess. Boy, he hasn't really done all that much, but I guess I prefer Bogdanovich just again for the he's just better value, I guess. And maybe Capella. I don't like to play him. So I guess, as boring as this is, am I off of this game too?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't have a ton of interest in this game. I do think Murray is still totally in play at 9,800, and I wouldn't really have a problem with it, except for I like Brunson at 9K. Like there's other plays. I think Anthony Davis is gonna smash, though. I think he's the clear guy to take here. Now it would be annoying if this was that night that maybe you projected. When you put something out in the universe sheets, I'm worried, man. I'm worried you might be right. But the good news is you leave 100 out there, and you could always play LeBron instead if AD is somehow out or something. But I think this is a great matchup for AD, and I think LeBron is interesting enough. So I think that would be my highest level of interest. It'd probably be Anthony Davis in this game. They just been getting beat up by centers. I think this could be a big spot for him. So I'm gonna play the AD tonight. And I'm putting out my early core now, but just for what it's worth, I'm gonna obviously be adjusting, and most of my afternoon stuff is the stuff you should probably be focusing on because things are going to change. I'm not even gonna say they're likely to change, they're just always going to. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at for now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it looks like Banton is the top play. And when I run with SaberSim, I'm getting 75% of him. And then it's a big drop to like 50%. So like Merrill comes to the couple of Sacramento guys. I think I want to keep playing the Craig Porter Jr. though.
Just take a shot.
Yeah, I mean, he always seems to be out there. I don't know, enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it could be the Globetrotters game. It's really weird. These remember those Indiana over-unders when they were like 250 earlier this year?
Yeah.
Now it's against Cleveland, so it's different, but it's like only 226.
Yeah, they've changed. I told you the whole league has changed, though. it's really different. They're not letting the scoring happen the same way. But also, yeah, that is a big part of it. Also, Indiana's playing slower with Siakam. Yeah, it's a little different. I don't mind.
I was going to say, I want to see if I can find the whatchamacallit prop. Josh Hart. Oh, they finally did it to you. 10.5 now.
10.5. That's a little.
That's a little rich. I took. Remember the first time we did it was 8.5.
It was 8.5. We did it for a while. Like
they finally made 9.5. Okay, I'm priced out. That's fine.
Definitely was one of our better bets of the year, though. That was the easiest one. Yeah. All right. Anything else, Sheets, before we get out of here?
No, we're good, man. I might not even do the hockey sheets at all. There are only 2 games, so we'll just be basketball tonight. See you guys at 6.
All right. Sounds good. Good luck.